Hi everyone, welcome to the channel dedicated to sharing the profound insights and wisdom of Andromedan Contactee Alex Collier. If you're new here, you're in for a journey that expands your mind and consciousness, bringing you closer to understanding the messages from the fifth density Andromedan extraterrestrials. For those returning, we're grateful for your continued support. Before we dive into today's enlightening content, we have a small favor to ask. If you find value in the knowledge shared in this video, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your engagement helps us amplify Alex Collier's message, allowing us to reach a larger audience with these vital messages. We'd also love to hear from you, so please engage with the comments below. Whether it's a question, your thoughts, or even just an emoji for the sake of engagement, every comment counts. We read every single comment, and your feedback is incredibly valuable to us, as it all contributes to our mission of expanding this community. So please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts below. Additionally, if you'd like to support us further, consider giving a super thanks tip by clicking the heart with the $sign. This small gesture allows us to continue bringing you more of Alex's messages, unfiltered and directly from his lifelong experiences with the Andromedans. Today's video includes a compilation of several of the many important questions Alex Collier has received over the past few years, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video.
Alex, what happens when we leave our bodies? Where do our spirits go? Is it some sphere above the earth? And what generally happens when ETs leave their bodies? Where do they go to incarnate? So it's a little more than normal.
Nicholas, that's a great question. My understanding, and I do not know the process. Well, if I were to know a process, it would only be with the A's, because that's been my only real exposure to dialogue and conversation. I don't know what the rest do, because I'm not contacted by more than one race. Just the A's. As far as Earth, my understanding is, and it has been since I was little, was that when we die, if we go into this tunnel, the tunnel of light, we go to a place that is what we know to be as the Van Allen belt, but it's a place within third and fourth density. And what happens is we are processed there. You are consciously aware of who you are. Many people choose to come back in. Now that environment is controlled, very strictly controlled, and it has been controlled by malevolent forces. Now I understand people that go there who've had near-death experiences call it heaven, because it's so different from this. Well, yes, it can appear to be that way. The issue is you're not free there. And you're not free to go to any other star system or to go home to your original star system. You're only free to process and reincarnate. And the issue is that when you reincarnate, your memory is washed away, okay? So you come back basically at step one. And it's over and over and over. Not only that, but many switches within our DNA and chromosomes have been turned off that not only limits our ability to remember and to use the gifts that we all have, being spirit incarnated in physicality, but also our lifespans have been shortened dramatically. So that makes it tougher. It makes it a lot more difficult. One of the first things that Mornay and Fassé shared with me when I talked about that, and this was shortly after my mother and my little sister died with the car accident, was, you know, what happens to us? And this is where this information I'm sharing with you now. I've shared this in the past somewhere. But what they said was that before you go into that tunnel of light, if you were to remember to turn around and look the other way behind you, what you would see is the entire universe. And you would be free to go in that direction. All you'd have to do is to have an intention. And you would go there faster than the speed of light. Well, actually, we can already travel faster than the speed of light. We can already think faster than the speed of light now. But that's what I know. All the people that have had near-death experiences, it is obvious that they did not turn around and go the other way. They've gone up to the tunnel, and for whatever reasons, some were sent back, some maybe didn't go all the way, maybe a family member met them part way and said, why don't you go back? You're not ready to come here. There are all kinds of different scenarios about this. And each experience is not only unique, but everyone has assigned their own value to that experience, whether it's been positive or negative. So, you know, we all create our reality. And that's what I know. I'm fully aware that my knowledge of this is incomplete. But that's what I know. I know that if I can remember and I remind myself of this, having had experiences where I've had to think about death, that I'm going to turn around and, you know, I'm going to go somewhere else. And I'm going to open up a coffee shop bookstore. That's what I'm going to do. Coffee shop bookstore. Listen, I wanted to read something about fear, and I had marked this out, and this is from Mornay, and this was in 1991. And a collection of lectures was put together called Defending Sacred Ground, the Andromedan Compendium. And it was edited originally by Vladimir Valerian of the Leading Edge Research pages. And there's a huge story behind that, but we're just not going to go into that because that's ancient history. But I do want to share with you something that they talked about because it's so relevant today. And this was back in '91. In your time and space, the expression of fear will be a challenge to all of you. For any of you to be in fear, you lack a clear understanding of most situations and evolvement. We observe that your world is at a most confused point in your history. We understand your remarkable drive and commitment to being alive. We, however, are not understanding of your need to create tools of death, expecting that they will all keep all in a space of understanding and peace. We have observed that you build, create, and plan in a space of fear, not in a consciousness of love. And ladies and gentlemen, that's probably a very large reason why we see everything falling apart at this point, because it was never built the right way. But of course, we didn't know any better, okay? You know, we didn't know we were being so controlled and manipulated because it was all being very secretive and being done behind the scenes. And those that we elected or trusted to watch our back sold us out. So it's understandable that we find ourselves in this position. But if we had structures and societies and communities and social structures built completely out of a consciousness of love, they probably would not be falling apart. They would be what we'd be leaning on. So we have to build those things now, not to be redundant. So let me continue. not in a consciousness of love. So your defense position of institutions that create and employ are always then in a state of unraveling and disintegration. Now that's true because they constantly have to change, and most of the time they get bigger to fix issues they have. The disintegration is they keep taking things from the environment and from the people to build these things, to create these things, these structures to keep us safe, which in fact enslave all of us, including those who work for this type of a system. They enslave themselves by participating in this type of structure. We share this with you because they drain you and your earth of energy, both spiritually and materially. Fear always has to feed. Fear does not create itself. It has to feed. And the fear we observe is difficult to understand. It depletes you of your focus on the original intent. Fear is and always is a very secretive energy. Fear withholds love. This is most saddening to see and to feel. How can you share understanding and love when so many of you are withholding from self and each other? Excuse me, it's really dry here. Please feel the words we as a race are trying to express to your race. One of your original intentions in creating your physical reality is the idea of creating and learning to manipulate and express yourselves through physicality using your consciousness. Goodness, I apologize. It is your consciousness that the isness has given you, and in fact, all things that bear spirit. It is the gift. It is this gift that has been clouded, and most importantly, clouded by fear. This creation is completely irrational to whom all of you are. We have come to understand that withholding love only creates perpetual disintegration. We have discovered in our own galaxy ruins of vast races achieving recognition that have ceased to exist. They destroyed themselves simply because they withheld love and drained the very life force out of their original intent and imploded and destroyed their own self-creation. The first projection of fear is denial, an emotion of incredible restriction. Denial and fear result in the complete opposite of the reality it claims to be. Fear is based, from our perception, on a misunderstanding of one's own worth and security. Why is this so? We have discussed this amongst ourselves in Andromeda about your race, and we have formed a perspective based on your history. Many of your religions have both helped and hurt this process. Some of your world's beliefs have many convinced that they are sinful creatures of nature. Your science teaches your physical form is a pool of chemicals thrown together by accident, so that all of you are an accident, living meaningless lives of chance. You fear a God whom a book says is a loving and forgiving God that will eternally throw you into an abyss for making mistakes. Many in your world have come to understand that in your world, fear, the idea of fear, is their enemy. All of you struggle between understanding and fear, and reason and fear. This struggle is in no way predetermined. Our perspective is that this struggle will lead your world to peace and responsibility, tipping point, or to extinction as a race. This would grieve us. It is time to return as one. So, that is still relevant. as it was back in 1991. Of course, we're a lot smarter and wiser now than when I first uttered those words from them. Because, now we all have a much clearer picture of what is going on, what's been going on. And, based on the knowledge base that we have, as things begin to unfold, and they are continuing to do that, we, of course, know how to put things into perspective and to where they are. And this is good. This is educational, because as we move forward, you'll be able to help your families, your friends, your loved ones. As the old world begins to crumble and crash, and we begin to build the infrastructure of a new world, it's the crash part that's going to panic a lot of people, because this is the only system they know. It wasn't like discovering the new world, or the creation of a monetary system, or the Industrial Revolution. We've been living in this system for quite some time. We don't know anything else. But as it does in fact collapse, and it is going to collapse, let me be very clear about that. It has to go away, because it's built on slavery. That's its goal. That's its intention. It's been built on slavery. And that is no longer our vibration, folks. And you should never settle for that, ever, for anyone. So we have to let it collapse. And as it does, the new infrastructure is being built on top of it. In fact, the new infrastructure has already begun. It's being built. And I make reference to cryptocurrencies. Cryptos have been around for a while. It's just that it's been used in black projects. And now it's filtering down into our world. Okay? And again, that's the 100th monkey syndrome. Okay, we have the space fleet. Those guys are out there, those guys and gals are out there flying, they're integrating and meeting other races. They are still part of us, of our consciousness. And that knowledge that they have and their experiences are in fact part of us. Okay, that's the 100th monkey syndrome. They can't literally leave us behind. It's not possible. Even if they physically left, consciously we would still be connected to them, unless we in fact cease to exist. But that's not going to happen, folks. The world is not going to end. It's going to change. And we have to embrace the change, because the old way isn't real. It served the few and enslaved the many. We can't do this, okay? And they have clearly shown that they're not willing to change, that they're not going to take off their mask. They're just not going to do it. They have been given every opportunity to make a better decision, a different decision. And their response has been to harm humanity, because they're pissed off that they're losing their power. So that's how this game's going to play out, okay? And it's going to play out. You know, my own journey, there was a lot of years where I just thought I was an idiot for doing this. I really did. I was just like, oh my God, Alex, you're such a knucklehead. What were you thinking when you did this? And I was pretty hard on myself, because no matter where I was catching shit. I was catching flack, and I still do. But you know, I've changed. I've matured. I've gotten some things. Okay, more than one light bulb has gone off. Or as a woman would say, oh, he's finally got it. So, and I'm happy to say that because, now I look back and I have a completely different perspective.
Solar flares. It is being said that a solar flare is coming, and this will tip everyone over into the fourth dimension. Also, what might happen to cryptocurrencies if there is an EMP from the solar flare? They're both from Fenswalker.
Okay, well, let's. I've heard the solar flare theory. And is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Because you got to remember that the sun is electromagnetic. And so are our bodies. Our bodies move with a current that's electromagnetic. Switches inside people have been turned on by events, such as being hit by lightning, which is electrical. There's all kinds of possibilities that it could happen. Will it happen that way? I genuinely don't know. Now, what would happen to cryptocurrencies if we had an EMP? Well, if we had an EMP that was bad enough, you'd have no refrigeration, you'd have no travel, you'd have next to no communication whatsoever, which means no delivery of food. You'd have to be already living off the grid in order to make it work. Because even if you had a hoard of silver and that's all you had, once the grocery store was empty, it's empty. No matter how much silver you have, it's empty. So if you haven't prepared, if your pantry isn't full, if you don't have a little bit of storage, once the grocery store is empty, you got to start eating grass, dude. You got to start eating grass, okay, or bark, because that's what's left, okay? Because to grow something takes months, and that's my point here. Could an EMP happen? Certainly. Will it happen? I don't think so. I don't think that that's our destiny. I don't think what John Teeter saw is an actual reality any longer. I think that probability has moved away because of the intervention. But I want to remind you, yes, there's intervention, but that doesn't mean they're here to save us. We have got to do the work. This is our life. This is our reality. Do we need to be educated? Yes. Do we need to know what's really been going on? Yes. Do we need to know the true history of who we are in order to have clear perspective? The answer is yes. But are they going to come in here and babysit? No. That's not going to happen. And any race that says that they're going to do that, we need to tell them, no, you just sit off there. This is what we need for assistance, but we're going to do this work ourselves. Please be there if we have questions, because we would like to have some mentoring, because we don't know how to take the next steps. And we would like to bounce some ideas off of you, having the fact that you've been there and you've already done this. But that's it. We don't want anybody to come in, control, rule, or manipulate in any way, shape, or form. And the benevolence would be very clear about doing that.
I like this question. Hey, Alex, do you know if the Andromedans are in conscious contact with planetary consciousnesses or stellar consciousnesses, given the frequency changes they are involved in too?
Their consciousness is holographic. And what I mean by that is whatever scenario they're in, whatever moment they're in, they don't see it four-dimensionally, they see it fifth-dimensionally. So yes, they would see all of that. Now, when they go to sixth, because they're being mentored by beings in sixth, their vision is altered. They can't see all of sixth dimension because they don't live there. But they do see all of five because their brain capacity sees things, everything holographically. Okay, so they see it all. They see all levels of the existence in fifth. That also would include fourth and third. Seeing fourth and third to them is a walk in the park. Okay, that would be a walk in the park. Which is why they know where all the bodies are buried. You know, who's doing what, where they are, and the intel that is being used to corral these regressive groups is just so solid. I mean, that's the best intel there is. When, you know, you got something here that's third and fourth dimensional, and you got a fifth dimensional intelligence saying, yo guys, here's where they are, this is where they're going to be at such and such a time, because we already see it all. Okay? It doesn't get any better than that. It just simply doesn't get any better than that. So, like I said, the game is over. We are just playing it out. But in playing it out, there's going to be a lot of swings. There's going to be a lot of emotions. There's going to be a lot of contrast. But none of us will forget, who's ever alive now, none of us will ever forget this. We just have to remember to pass on not only what happened, but the wisdom and the knowledge and the experience that was gained from all of this. Okay? We cannot allow another burning of the Library of Alexandria, where all that knowledge and wisdom about the past was destroyed. We cannot allow a religion, a state religion, I won't mention the Vatican at all, to suppress information and knowledge in its basement, in its cellar, so that humanity knows nothing about it, and it alters history by presenting something that says it's the Word of God, okay? That this is it. He wrote it himself. We can't allow that. This is something we are all invested in. And all of us need to be invested in making sure that future generations are not ever put in the situation we find ourselves in or have found ourselves in. Okay, it would be an enormous disservice.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found it insightful, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future updates. If you have any questions relating to today's video, please also leave them below. We read all the comments and take on board what our viewers have to say about Alex Collier's work. Remember, your support helps Alex Collier's knowledge and the messages from the Andromedans reach more people. If you'd like to support the channel even more, you can give us a super thanks tip by clicking the heart icon with a $sign. It really helps our team bring you more content. Also, be sure to visit alexcollier.org to sign up for our regular email newsletter. It's the best way to stay updated with the latest news, exclusive content, and upcoming live webinars. For the latest insights from Alex Collier, check out alexcollier.live. And if you want to explore over 250 past webinars, head over to alexcollier.tv. Thank you for being a part of this journey and supporting Alex Collier's work. We couldn't do this without you, and we're genuinely grateful for your support. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the vast mysteries of our universe. If you would like to see the Andromedan Contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, We hold a live online seminar every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information on upcoming live webinars, please visit alexcollier.org.